Hey friends, Amanda here, Bare Bones Living. Welcome back. And today we are getting one step closer to self-sufficiency by putting together this 3.5 cubic feet cement mixer. And you may be wondering why that would be getting us closer to self-sufficiency. And that is because I am using this cement mixer to mix our feed for our animals. And if you guys have been around here any time, you know that I mix all of my bird feed, except for the turkeys. I give them a pellet, but all the other birds, and we got a lot of them, I mix all of their feed. And what I have been doing in the past is mixing it in our gorilla cart, but I can only mix a half of a batch in our gorilla cart, and then I have to split it up between my gorilla cart and then the barrel that I keep the feed in, because it's just not big enough to mix a big batch. So I'm hoping, and then I mix it by hand, and then I scoop with buckets, and I'm hoping that this makes it easier for me to mix our feed. I don't think I'll get both, because I make a double batch. I don't think I'll get both in the drum at once, but it will definitely speed up my process, mix it better. And we are also looking to make our own pig feed. And we raise Idaho pasture pigs, and the suggestion for their breed is a grain mix that I ferment. And no feed stores anywhere around my area will mix pig feed for me, because they have like a minimum of 3 tons, and for 2 pigs I needed, for the entirety of their life, I only needed 1 ton. I wasn't about to buy 3 tons, and I had no way of transporting 3 tons. So for like a small scale farmer like I am, I was having a hard time sourcing their food, and so we had to drive 2 hours away to find somebody that would mix us a ton of food for these pigs. This spring we're getting 4 pigs, so we're gonna need 2 tons of food, still not meeting the 3-ton minimum of all the places around us that will mix. So our solution is that we can source the individual ingredients, because there's only 4 ingredients in the pig feed, one of which we were already buying, and we had to take 2 hours away for them to mix in the minerals and then drive back to go pick up the finished feed and drive back. It was just a big hassle, and I'm hoping that by having this mixer and being able to mix our own food, we are cutting out the middleman. I don't have to then store 1 ton of feed at once, because we had to buy a bunch of food grade barrels for that 1 ton of pig feed to store it all and keep it airtight and without mice and all sort of kind of stuff. If I can get, now that I have this mixer and we found our local feed store has all the ingredients or can get the other 3 ingredients, now I can do it on like a monthly or bi-monthly basis, and I don't have to store such a massive amount of food and have to worry about it getting broken into by animals or critters. So that is how we are becoming more self-sufficient, mixing all of our own food, God willing. And this is the key element. Now I got this. This is the 3.5 cubic feet cement mixer. It is from Harbor Freight. This is the second time I've bought this, full disclosure, because the first time I bought it, And if you have bought this cement mixer, you know my pain. The directions are horrid. There are no directions. And there are a lot of pieces and a lot of parts that you have to put together, and the directions are horrible. I did find a YouTube video. Of course, you can find anything on YouTube. I did find a video of a guy putting it together. He made it very simple. I will link that below. This is not a how to put this thing together video. If you want to know how to put it together, highly, highly, highly suggest watch this video that I have in the description. He makes it very easy to put together. Once I had his video, the whole process took me all day because I struggled trying to figure out the directions. Then Mike was like, why don't you just look on YouTube? I'm sure somebody has it. Lo and behold, there it was. Once I had those instructions, it took me like an hour to put it together. So then I had it all together, plugged it in, and the motor didn't work. I was beyond livid because it took me all day to do this, and I needed to make my chicken feed. So it was late in the day. I finally put it together. I'm getting ready to turn it on, and the motor doesn't work. And it's obviously getting power, just no spinning happening. So I called customer service, and they said it was I don't remember what they said it was. It was a component within the motor, and they're like, we're going to send you a new one. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not taking, because the motor comes assembled. They wanted me to take it apart and fix this component on the motor. I'm like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not doing that. And they're like, well, you can return it and get a new one. So we returned the fully assembled cement mixer, and they gave us another one, so now I have to rebuild it, which really irritates me. But before I do that, lesson learned, I am going to test this motor and make sure it actually spins. I'm not making that mistake twice. And then again, I'm going to watch this video, and I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to make my bird feed because they are in need. Alright, moment of truth. Will this thing spin or not? Let's see. Ah! First struggle is down. The motor works. It spins! Win number one. Let's hope it keeps going that way. Alright. Drum roll, please. Ooh, that is loud. Alright, so the moment of truth. I'm going to see if I can mix up my chicken feed here. And like I said, I don't know if I can get a double batch in here. There we go. So I'm going to just pour one of these bag of oats in first and see how much space that takes up. Because one bag is one of my recipes. And then half of my black oil sunflower seeds. And we'll see where that gets us. So pretty much what I thought, it fills up about half. But I still have my peas and corn and flaxseed to put in here. And I don't want to put in another full thing of oats and sunflower seeds because it would just fly out. So I think I'm just going to do one recipe at a time. It'll still go faster. And let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Oh, well, I was going to be super excited, but look, there's still tons of sunflower seed in there, so I guess I got to keep going. Well, now that looks better. Looks pretty mixed to me. A lot easier than doing it by hand, and I still have to get this into my big barrel, feed barrel. So I have to probably pour it into 5-gallon buckets and transfer it over. But I think that's going to make our lives, my life, since I'm the one doing it, a lot easier. Hopefully it'll speed up the process too. So as you can see, as I started to take out the seed, still in the back you have the black oil sunflower seeds separated from the oats. So it does not thoroughly mix like top to bottom. But the act of me taking it out of here and putting it into the 5-gallon bucket and then pouring it into our feed bin is actively mixing it as well. So what I'm doing is taking this mixed feed and then scooping from the back some black oil sunflower seeds, and then scooping in some oats and trying to kind of, mix as I go and kind of layer affecting, lasagnaing the ingredients here, the feed. So I would say that in some ways this is helpful because it's more at my level and it's not dependent on the weather. Because when I was doing it in my Gorilla Cart, I couldn't fit the Gorilla Cart into my shed most of the time. And the Gorilla Cart lives outside, so if it was raining, I have to remember to flip it upside down so it wouldn't collect water. Because obviously I don't want my feed to get wet. But as you can see in here, when I dump it in, it's getting fairly well mixed. And as I scoop, it also mixes. So it's not a total loss. So my overall assessment of using this cement mixer to mix my feed. Obviously, the less volume you have in this mixer, the more thoroughly it will get mixed. So I think after mixing the second batch, maybe I will, on my next month, I'll only do a quarter, or I mean a half of a recipe, and see if mixing a half at a time, really gets all of the ingredients mixed throughout. Doing the full one batch, just that top layer was really mixed in. And then after taking out the first 5-gallon bucket, there was a lot more room already. There was a lot more room freed up, and I was able to run it again, and it got more mixed. And after every bucket, 5-gallon bucket that I took out, I did remix it again and again. So is this the end all be all on mixing feed? Absolutely not. This was not foolproof. This was not, I wasn't like floored by the effectiveness of this. It is better, I think, than me mixing with a shovel in a Gorilla Cart, or in the actual feed barrel itself. And it's more at my level, so I'm not crouched over and bent over. I do like that it has this handle to tip, because I can tip it all the way down. It's being blocked by the bags right now, but I can tip it all the way down and use gravity to dump it into my 5-gallon buckets. This is easy to maneuver even when it's full. So it does speed up the process in that matter. And I'm expecting that this is going to help us, well, I already know that it's going to help us huge with mixing our pig feed, because like I mentioned, we were having to drive 2 hours to get our mixed pig feed. And so being able to mix our own feed, which, I mean, again, I could do in the Gorilla Cart, but this is just, I feel, going to make it much easier. So I am happy with it. I am going to have to tweak how I make the feed, whether I lasagna it, and just put in like, I'll put in like a scoop of sunflower seeds and a scoop of oats and a scoop of peas and, so on and so forth. Or just make half batches or whatever. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit. But I am happy that I have this. I feel better with it. And we are just that much closer to being self-sufficient on our homestead with our feed. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.